Kanpai!
Kanpai! I hit the wrong button first.
You are... Oh, my God. Welcome, Weebs, to this week's episode... Oh, my God. Welcome, Weebs, to this week's episode of Nasuth interrupting the fuck out of me. This time, he's going to talk to me about how he fucked up something. Followed by how he fucked something... No, I'm joking. Right, okay.
Yeah!
Followed by me interrupting you as well, just for the fun of it.
Yeah!
Oh, my...
It's all right, you can call me Thaylien.
I swear we are friends. Right, well, I'm going to call you something else in a minute, so, you know. Anyway.
Don't call me late for dinner.
Right, so, this week we're going to be talking about scenes that add character. So, it's basically a deconstruction of pivotal moments in different animes. We've all gone away. We've brought 4 with us to the table. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to play devil's advocate and things. There's going to be some of these scenes we do know like the back of our hand, and there are going to be some scenes that, like, wait, that happened? So, yeah.
Actually, I had to go back and refresh myself on one of them before recording.
Yeah. But, first of all, we're going to talk about some housekeeping. So, funny story time. And I did get Thaylien's permission to talk about this. We got some pretty severe warnings on YouTube, because of not specifically because of 3 of Thaylien's memes, but because of where those memes were on Reddit, right? So it appears that Google or YouTube had gone and checked out the rest of that subreddit, and there was some stuff on there that was not okay, and YouTube was not happy with it.
I am blaming, if I don't have no chance that he's ever going to watch this, but Nux, if you're all watching this, it is your submission page you're to blame.
Yeah. So but the thing is, like, it's impossible to moderate these things. So one thing I really wanted to highlight to the audience is I'd probably say, like, when you're looking at memes that are from those subreddits that we post, probably the best thing to do is make sure you're doing it in in a not safe for work environment. So, like, you know, you're not doing it where your mum can walk in and say, like, you know, see something inappropriate. Even though it may not be a meme that we have put forward, there have been plenty of memes, especially this week, Nasuth, that have just been like, oh no, oh no.
So, we've all seen the actual meme of anime when I'm watching it alone versus anime when my parents walk in.
Yes.
It's that exact thing. We are bringing you mostly safe for work stuff, but it is an anime subreddits and things like that. So there will be, you know.
I mean, content. I don't know about the one that Thaylien pulled from, but usually at least animemes and stuff, they have to mark mature content so it gets hidden. So at least you're safe in that regard. But
even so, things can still slip through, right? And that's right. So, and the thing is, right, we can't moderate those things, right? We can't enforce those things. It's social networking. So, what we have done...
We do not weigh 600 pounds and live in our mother's basements, so we are not Reddit moderators.
I mean, speak for yourself, but I mean, I live in my mother's attic, but yeah, joking. Right, that's how I get the daylight from the sky. The skylights. Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm joking. All right. So, but we have done some shenanigans, right? This realistically is to safeguard us and nothing else. So in the description below, you'll find that all the memes go to kanpaicast.com/ and then it's basically the identifier of the meme. So /r/ whatever takes you to Reddit, /t/ whatever takes you to Twitter. But the whole point of this is that we are trying to safeguard ourselves, and it works. I'm not going to go into what happens to you.
We're not tricking you with strange links.
Yes.
It does redirect to the actual thing. There's no. It's just protection against Google and YouTube's spider bots.
Nothing changes for you, the viewer. It's only to protect us against YouTube being weird. It
protects us from YouTube deciding we can't upload for a while. because that's where we are. Like one more badness, and we can't upload for a while. I'm like, we want to avoid this, and we don't want to take away the memes. You know, so. If this does not work, then we'll have to
we'll figure
something else entirely.
We'll have to ban certain subreddits, even though
but my favorite thing is one of us has to watch a 30-minute video on how to follow the guidelines, and then answer a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
So YouTube's not going to give us a shit time. One of us.
One of us.
Anyway, right. So that is it. So that's that story. Just a fun, dumb story that we discovered the night before we were going to record this. But anyway, right. So moving on. Don't forget to join Discord. Don't forget to follow us on Tumblr and Twitter and Blue Sky if you have Blue Sky. I mean, if you want an invite to Blue Sky, feel free to just hit us up on the our Discord. The
I'm currently sitting on a couple. I think. Yeah.
And don't forget to submit some memes. Put it in the meme submissions, and we can look to get those into the actual episode. So yeah. Okay, cool. So let's move on. I was about to take a drink, but right. So the whole point of this is a deconstruction of or an in-depth analysis of our take on pivotal moments within various different animes. We've all gone away. We picked 4 each, and the idea is more like, does it play out well? How would you change it? Does it make sense in a real world setting? Things like this. Because I think for the most part we've picked fairly serious stuff, right? There's some like odd things that are like lighthearted and happy and things, but you get the idea. And unless anyone wants to volunteer themselves first, I'm gonna let either of these two to pick one of mine to go first.
Oh, I want to know why you put Ava on here. Unless Thaylien particularly wants to, pick something else first.
I was going to get Ava out of the way, but I want to know which particular scene from Ava he's chosen.
Right. Okay. Well, which scene do you think I have chosen?
Well, you picked 1.0.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. Exactly where 1.0 ends. Because I usually watch them all in a row when I watch them, and so they all kind of blend together into one long movie. Is it the moment when Shinji actually decides he's gonna pilot the Ava?
Close. It's the same scene, but it's actually the fact that Gendo is getting Shinji to pilot the Ava.
So we're literally going with Shinji getting the robot, or getting
pretty
the
much
Shinji moment. Excellent.
Yeah. This isn't any fault of Shinji, right? I think Shinji is portrayed well. Misato and I can't remember the name of the blonde-haired doctor.
It's alright.
Right? They're portrayed well. Rei portrayed well. Gendo is the only one that I cannot fucking comprehend in the slightest.
Well, that's because you haven't watched the 4th movie yet.
Are you trying to tell me that the 4th movie possibly explains why? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me deconstruct it first.
Kind of the third and then second movie. Anyway,
we have to take it on its own merits first. People have only seen.
Yes, if you've only seen the first movie, then
yeah.
Right. You have to take it on its own merits. You can't expect the 4th movie to explain another movie.
Yes, especially when it happened 10 years later. But that's besides.
Especially when
10 years after the 3rd one.
Especially when it diverged so far from the original storyline that they'd intended. Anyway.
Okay, so the whole point is that Nerve is supposed to be I'm pretty sure they're a private military organization that specialize in dealing with these, I want to say extra-dimensional beings that are out to cause the third impact, which is like supposed to be the destruction of all humanity and everything. It's basically to reset the Earth, right? Am I correct in this analysis?
More or less, yes. Yeah. More or less,
cool.
yeah.
Right. Then, so they're a PMC and they have specialized equipment. They are, there's a lot of time testing, training, so on and so forth. But the thing that I don't comprehend in all of this is that Gendo gets Shinji to pilot Eva Unit 1 when not only does he have no experience piloting anything, he has never even heard of the Evangelion units, right? It's the first time he comes to Tokyo 3. It is Tokyo 3, is it not Neo Tokyo?
Yes, Tokyo 3.
Yeah. It's the first time he's come to Tokyo 3, and it's just like just get in the robot. All right, that's where the meme comes from, because it's just so. Just get in the robot. I don't give a shit. Hi, son. Just get in the robot. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I don't get it.
I would say that's actually more of a problem with the original series than the movie. In the movie, it's kind of hinted that he knows what his father does, and so he's at least vaguely aware of the Evas. However, you're right that he has no training how to use one.
Yeah.
Unlike Asuka, who's been trained from birth to do this, and Rei, who was literally built for it, Shinji has never piloted one before. He's never experienced even coming close to it.
Here's the take I have on it is it's literally done to keep the audience as off balance as Shinji is. Because it's literally done
to put Eva 1 in a position to go berserk. That's the literal reason for it.
Yes, that's part of the whole.
That's what Gendo wants,
keeping the audience off balance.
Yeah.
So I think the reason he's done this is because he would usually use Rei, but she's been injured, and so he has the excuse. It's an excuse to use Shinji. It's an excuse for everybody else. Say
to go along with it.
For the people high enough to know what the Evas are, and people high enough to know what the background is and who Shinji is.
So the employees of Nerve that aren't him, yeah.
Yes.
Or his
direct aid. Futsuki,
Yeah.
Yes. So the people that aren't the board of directors or his direct aides.
Yeah.
Those people are important enough to know why Shinji is even viable. But everybody else is shocked at this. And so it's his excuse to use Shinji and put Eva Unit 1 in a state to go berserk, because he throws him out there with no knowledge, no training, not even proper instructions. They tell him just to focus on being able to walk. Right? And so I think it's almost possible that the whole situation has been engineered to coincide with the angel dropping. That they, of course, would be able to detect it because of other reasons. And when that angel came to Earth, they had they've set into motion getting Shinji to Tokyo 3, getting him into the compound and putting him... The very fact they wheel in Rei on a stretcher, they wheel her in on a hospital bed, it is all designed to put Shinji and the audience into a state where they have no fucking clue why this is a thing. What's going on?
But they know that it needs to happen.
But
it hits an emotional thing, not a thinking thing.
But it makes sense. It does make sense for Gendo to wheel in Rei because Shinji's refusing to get in Eva 1.
Yes.
Right?
He's using that the emotional sledgehammer.
Yeah, basically.
Yes, but also he really would have. He would have put her in there if
Shinji wouldn't have done
Shinji hadn't gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter how injured, he would have done it.
The thing that doesn't make any fucking sense to me, which I think Nasuth's already hinted at, it's answered in the fourth movie.
Why does he want Ava to go to Berserk? Is that kind of what you're...
No, not what you call it. That will be the question in a moment. Okay. But it is just a simple case of okay, so for example, yes. when I'm doing my job, right, and someone tries to do something, and I know it is a mistake to do, I block it, right? Mm-hmm. I prevent it from going forward. I raise all the questions. I do not understand how in this entire chain of command, no one has questioned Gendo as to why should this kid who has had zero training get in Ava Unit 1.
I don't think they even knew. I think it was as much a shock to Masato and Kisaragi as it was to all the other subordinates when he told Shinji to get in.
I can actually tell you why. It's because up until now, Gendo has been seen as kind of the savior in the aftermath of Second Impact, and so people just do what he said. He is the absolute commander of Nerve. People just do what he says. He wields so much power that he can stand up to Thaylien. He's that he can just make people do what he wants.
Right.
And that's literally what it comes down to.
Okay, fine. I don't like the fact that...
you have done differently?
What? Well, could he have done differently? Oh, no, what could he have done differently?
What I would have influenced the narrative to do differently, right? Yeah. I think if it's a simple case of that Gendo needed Ava 1 to go berserk, or he's trying to do whatever he can to get Ava 1 to go berserk, fine, right?
But you don't know any of that until later, so yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That there is the problem. If there was some subtle hints as to that was his grand machinations all along, I don't think that when the movies were in production, that thought had ever come into his mind, Hideki Anno's mind. I think that it was only until he got a true opportunity to do a retrospective on the current 3 movies that he was able to turn around and, go, no, this is why. He was actually able to give a reason after the majority of the production had been made, right? And that's fine, but I feel that should have been within the first movie itself. Because that's it's one of the most iconic. Getting the robot Shinji is one of the most iconic scenes, the most iconic memes in anime history. And it just fucking and Evangelion is heralded, right, as a massive deconstruction of the giant robot genre. Right?
By not being giant robots.
The original one, sure. This one, not so much.
Okay, fine. The original one, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is that thing has never fucking made sense to me. Right?
The clues are there even in the original series, but they're not very well laid out or spelled. You really got to know stuff about psychology and weird theory, Jungian theory and stuff like that. You've really got to dig into it to get a lot of the stuff that the clues that are there.
Okay, so I've not seen the 4th movie. I have watched the original series too many times to admit, just trying to make fucking sense of the whole thing. I've fucking bought the manga, which again is these 5 angels over here that are completely shit. Yeah, they never existed. We just made those up for the series, right? So my question to you is, what was the reason Gendo wanted Ava 1 to go berserk?
It's because he's trying to awaken it to rival the power of the original beings that created Lilith and Adam. so that he can resurrect Yui, who died. Sorry, she didn't die exactly. Her soul fused with Eva 1, which is specifically why Shinji is the only one who can pilot it. They've tried to use a dummy plug on it. It didn't work. They've tried to get, I think they've tried to get somebody else to use it. Ray to pilot it, yeah.
They tried to get Ray to pilot it,
essentially that's what the dummy plugs are spare rays. But so Shinji's the only one who can connect with Yui at this point. And that's why he needs... And making Eva 1 go berserk is essentially reawakening Yui's mind, changing it from just a tool into, she has a will of her own now. She wants to save Shinji, that sort of thing.
Yes. That's why the hand coming up to protect him from falling debris was so important.
Yes,
I feel
even when he's not when he's not in it to pilot it, it reacts now.
I feel that there's still nowhere near enough of a hint of Gendo's plans in the first movie.
Yeah, there's a couple of throwaway lines like, "What if Shinji doesn't do it?" And he's like, "Well, I think we can still manage it." So like it's clear that he needs Shinji for something. They're just not telling us why.
Yes.
Okay.
But
We've
you're
spent
right.
a while on this.
There's not enough in
there
to justify how vague the scene is. So
right.
Yeah.
So why don't myself and Thaylien pick one of Nasuth's?
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm interested to know, unless Thaylien, you have one. I was going to say Skeleton Knight.
Yeah, I caught my eye. I loved Skeleton Knight. Tell me about it.
So it's really the Skeleton Knight. It's really honestly really early. It's just the way he reacts to the new not being teleported. Because okay, so when he's teleported, his reactions I feel are really really off. He just kind of instantly accepts, hey, this is what's going on now. I feel a realistic character would have struggled with that more. They would have been like, why am I here? What's going on? Why am I like this? He just kind of rolls with it. That's not the part I'm talking about, though.
The Team 4-star cell reaction. What? How? Why? I have so many questions.
Yeah, kind of exactly that. Okay. Yeah. But after that,
he's so happy.
Yes, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is once if you assume that take any other character and get them past that initial existential moment of what's going on, and I feel like his reactions after that are actually pretty natural. He's like, hey, I'm in this world. Hey, I've got all this power. Hey, holy crap, this could actually be really fun. And then he goes, the moment I'm really thinking of is when he gets to the tavern, the inn, and he goes to his room with all the food, and he's just like devouring it and laughing and having smoking his cigar and having just a grand old time. And I think that really sets up his motivations. All he wants to do in this world is have good food, have fun, meet friends, and have adventure. And that's all the show is about.
Help the friends out by having adventures.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if you have friends, you want to help them out.
Also, if you've got a cute pink-haired dark elf girlfriend, then you definitely want to help whatever she's doing.
I mean, literally, that's all he does.
Initial scene.
Yeah, it sets up the whole tone. Not the arrival. The arrival is the bit that I think it doesn't really make sense. It's after it's post arrival and it's his acceptance of his place in this world.
Yeah.
I feel that he has a lot of a natural reaction to this. I mean, like, it's interesting how you bring this up, and it now makes me think, well, so many isekai characters are, they're all just like, oh, I guess this is my life now.
Yes,
like it feels so unnatural in a lot of ways. I mean, this is one thing that Arifureta does really, really well, is the fact that our main protagonist does not want to be there, right? There are so many characters.
Even Handyman Saito, right? He constantly is thinking about his old life and what's going
back and things like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. But again, like, I kind of feel that with Skeleton Knight, he has a huge luxury in the fact that, you know, he has, you know, come to this world OP as all hell. Right? And, like, you know, the world is effectively his oyster. All he has to do is travel, you know, go on, pick a direction, and if he comes across anything that he can barely handle, then, you know, he just deals with
investment. He doesn't need to, or he can deal with it as he can.
Yes.
I'm really glad that Midwell actually gave him a goal as well. It was a natural development where he realized that, oh my god, my life here can get better.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for. Yes.
But even then, it fits in with his initial goals of just fun and adventure, right? Yes, he has an overarching goal now, but it still fits into that tone of, I just want to have an adventure. I just want to meet friends. I just want to have really good experiences and stuff. You know, it really that initial moment really does set the entire tone of the show.
I think one thing that I would like to have seen more with the likes of Skeleton Knight is the being held accountable for his actions, because, you know, he just goes around and just, like, you know, he sees, like, I'm gonna, you know, I think this is bad, I'm gonna murder those people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, did you have full comprehension of the whole situation here?
Absolutely no blowback.
Exactly, absolutely no blowback.
I think there's a certain amount of Junibyo
A certain amount of what?
Junibyo. 8th grade
yes.
syndrome. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that the fact he discovered that this is the game that he enjoyed so much, that he is the character he was role-playing as, even down to the later goal being that actually, oh no, the role-play thing I put in my original game, that I was
real.
cursed skeleton, and, you know, that's actually something that's viable here. I think he's just gone full roleplay, because in the same way that players gravitate to, say, the Paragon path in video games, it's not because they are so good themselves, but it's the role they want to play. They want to make everything better. They want to do all these things, and he has the power to actually do it in this one. So it's so pure of a wish fulfillment that it actually doesn't come across as wish fulfillment. It's just like just being there, his wish is fulfilled, and now he can be the person he wanted to be all along.
Actually, I think, again, shows like Campfire Cooking does this well. In Skeleton Knight, there isn't so much discovery as one would expect. It would have been good had he gone to a town, taken off his helmet, everyone freak the fuck out.
That's a good change.
Right?
Yes.
And then he basically legs it, and then basically he has to not only never take off his armor again, he also changes his armor, like, you know, he transmogs it or whatever, so that no one recognizes it in that armor anymore. Right? Because it's just like, oh yeah, there's this weird this Death Knight roaming around, he's gonna murder us all. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah. I'm wearing holy armor. Wink.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that would be cute. Yeah.
Because rumors following him on his journey about a skeleton would also add to that need for him to keep hidden, rather than this just being a self-imposed thing.
But even Ainzel Gone does exactly the same thing. The first time he turns he turns up without a mask. The villagers freak the fuck out. He then, like, calms them down or whatever. Then he puts the mask on to when he meets the rest of them, right? So again, it just feels like certain corners have been cut. I don't know if it's like this in the original source material, but
we'd have to check.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. It's a good choice. The Skeleton Knight is a joyful little show.
Right, so, it is. Probably never going to get a season 2, but, you know.
Okay, then.
We can hope.
Should we now, Nasuth, pick Thalien's?
Well, I've only watched 2 of these, so
Okay.
I guess FLCL. Let's go with the crazy one first.
Yeah, why have that? That was what I was going to go for.
I almost thought about doing
really
FLCL too. So,
Really?
yeah.
It's because it has some of these absolute silly things,
But also some iconic moments.
but definitely. But also, there's a scene in there that really makes FLCL to me the more deep than the crazy manic nature of it has. So, what can you really say about FLCL? It's so abstract in its message that only by watching it multiple times you actually get to grasp what the real message behind it is. It's a show ultimately about growing up. Not the part where you become grown up, but the absolute chaos and confusion that's the steps in between being a child and growing up. Forming a consciousness, forming rational thoughts about life, and making relationships with other people. So I picked out the episode called The Marquis de Carabas. And in this one, the Fooly Cooly chaos in the episode is based on the next monster that's going to arise from Naota's head. Whereas the everyday life chaos is that Naota's classmate, Eri Ninamori, is suffering from her parents having like a media circus going around. They're a bit famous, and it's likely that they'll get a divorce. And her own mind, as a teenager, is saying that the one way she can fix things is to make sure that she does things right. And there's a class play coming up, and if she organises it to go off without a hitch, it'll fix everything, at least in her mind. And the combination of these two different things is what makes for a very strange scene later on. The two parts of the story cross when Ninamori rigs the vote casting for the play that she's putting on, so that she and Naota are the main characters. He gets to play Puss in Boots. And it's rather on point because the monster that's coming out of Naota's head has given him cat ears, and he's wearing a hat to cover them up. But he doesn't, because of this, he thinks it's too, on nose, so he tries to ditch all the rehearsals. And while there's the point, that's Ninamori up there. So while he's sulking around the town, ditching the rehearsals, Ninamori is actually avoiding her parents' house. And they meet up. And to throw it all together, Haruka comes riding around, loses control of her Vespa, and knocks Naota down the stairs, and they have a head-to-head collision, he and Ninamori. And his hat comes off, and she finds the cat ears. And she touches them, with Haruka saying, "I wouldn't do that. I warn you not to touch those cat ears. Something really weird could happen." And she does it anyway. But she falls unconscious from touching them. And to top things off, they take her back to Naota's place to let her sleep it off. And while there, they get into a little argument where Ninamori reveals that she rigged the vote, that she wanted Naota to star in the play with her. And why? But that brings us to the scene in question. It's the next day in class. Ninamori and Naota get into an argument about the play. And she wants it to be perfect for her parents, and he sees it, and he just sees it as, an inconvenience because she's forced him into it. And when he says that, Ninamori snatches his hat off and reveals his cat ears to the class. And in retaliation, Naota screams out that she rigged the votes to get him into the role. And that triggers the Fooly Cooly chaos. The bump on the head and touching the cat ears linked their heads, their little NO space that causes monster to come out of Naota's head. And instead it comes out of Ninamori's head. So this monster emerges from her head and starts rampaging across the school from the shock that she's had from being outed. And that, Haruka is watching on and, commentating. Kanti is coming in as a robot to fight the monster, and chaos is ensuing. And that's, all to the the chaos of that, and eventually, they chuck a an overly spicy curry into it, and then Kanpai decks it in the schnoz to get rid of it. But it's the normal drama. Fooly Cooly is all about the over-the-top fight scenes and the chaos that it causes. But the normal drama is what really sets this off, because we can relate to that scene where somebody in your teenage years is being a bit of a madam and trying to force you into things, and all you want, because you are stressed, you are going through school, you are going through puberty, you just want out of that situation, and so an argument springs up and you will just hurt each other. One of you will reveal the secrets, another one will reveal the secrets, and it's part of literal teenage life. I love it for the fact that it's got that that normal drama that's part of FLCL, part of growing up, and it just kind of brings out that classic chaos from both life and Fooly Cooly that is part of this show.
I'm not entirely sure how one could actually improve this, because, like, again, the what's the saying? Variety is the spice of life.
Well, they've already tried to replicate it twice, and I guess technically 3 times.
Yet.
I wouldn't say the third time it really counts. Maybe the current one. Yeah, Grunge doesn't really count, but progressive and alternative
goes.
Yeah, and they've never managed to duplicate it. So I don't know that you could make this any better.
There is one improvement to the scene that I would make.
Oh, go on then.
While Kanpai is fighting the monster, it's using Ninamori's body to fight, and she's kicking at him. And so she's kicking the robot. The robot is trying to fend her off, makes a grab, and accidentally pulls down her bloomers and panties. And so he panics and holds them up in his hands to make sure that when she kicks him again, he slides them back on again. And that's all off screen. He can't see anything. But my God, he just accidentally stripped a 13-year-old girl. Come on. Do we really need that?
But he's a robot.
No, I suppose not.
He's a robot. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah, he's a robot.
It's an
he's a very good boy. And Kantai's a good boy. He wouldn't peek and tell. So
yeah. It wasn't on purpose.
No, I think it's the fact that we, as adults, we can look on Infusion and say, "Oh, she wanted to spend time with Nauta," and we see that by the end of the show, that she's trying to get the attention of the boy she likes, as well as solve her other problems with her parents. With putting on the play and showing that she's a good girl and she can do all the things that it's worth raising her. They shouldn't split up, that kind of thing.
Sorry, was he the boy she likes, or was it a case of like a fellow soul lost to chaos?
Kind of. We can see that in there's a lovely dramatic parallel in Fooly Cooly. In the first episode of the series, this girl, his older brother's girlfriend, he puts money into the drinks machine, and she comes along and presses a different drink before he can. Yeah. And so she gets the drink she wants and then hands him the rest of it. Yeah. But at the end of the show, it's Ninamori does the exact same thing to him. And there's the implication of the fact that she knows that if she takes a drink and hands it to him, it's one of those famous indirect kisses.
Wait, is it the end of that specific episode? Because I remember the show ending completely differently.
It's towards the end. It's towards the end of the show. It's towards the end of the series. Yes, I think episode 5, because the end of the actual series is very dramatic.
Yeah.
I think no, it's right at the end. The end of the series is very dramatic. It's and
then there's the denouement
credit scene.
Yeah,
it's literally the in the credits scene afterwards where he's saying, "Well, I guess I have to get used to drinking bitter drinks." So. It's after
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
So where everything's gone back to normal and the giant iron is still putting out steam, the world hasn't changed, but he has.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Furikuri is a very difficult series to try and make any logical sense of, but
I think Haruha is less of an actual person and more of a represent like a symbol of
chaos,
of chasing childhood, of trying to retain, because she's always chasing Atavus, and Atavus is essentially the chaos of the chaos and carefree nature of childhood, and she's always chasing
the one free being, the pirate king, the free one, and so she's following him.
But she can never catch him. It will always elude you. In the end, it will always elude you, and you will grow up.
But also, she is an icon of being one of those obsessed adults.
Yeah.
That you can't. That she has an obsessive goal, and you don't want to turn into someone like her.
Yeah.
Because following your dreams is one thing, but obsessing over a goal like that drives you to extremes and drives you mad.
I mean, it certainly feels like she is trying to chase her own childhood. Yeah. It feels like she's trying to chase her own childhood. Like she wants to remain forever young. And
definitely. She gets the power. She can do whatever she likes. They even do those, but they do surprisingly adult stuff with her, like the when she pretends to seduce his dad. And he tries to dive into bed with her, and she
but the way she does it is very childish.
Boxing gloves as well. Yeah, it's very. Just these scenes, the manga scenes, are in the anime because
I feel the boxing glove thing was a Lupin the Third reference.
Probably.
Good old Fujiko. Right.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Shall we make Xenopip do another one?
Yeah, sure. Which one do you want me to do?
Well, you wanted to make him do Guyver, didn't you?
Yeah, let's get Guyver out of the way.
Let's get Guyver out of the way.
Which scene are you picking on that one?
Okay,
I think I know which scene he's picking with that one. It's the same scene he loves the most. It's the scene he loves the most. It's where
it's not the scene I love the most.
Wait, what's his name? The kid? Sho. Why did I think it was Fu? Sho. It's Fukamachi. That's it. Has to kill his own daddy, his own daddy man.
It is.
Yep, I know it is.
It's like.
I mean, it is a really good, impactful scene. So I get it.
Yes, he didn't pick the guy for jiggle physics scene.
No jiggle physics.
So it's supposed to be a beam cannon, but no, it's titty jiggle physics.
This is why we can't have nice things.
He posted that in the Kanpai Cast Discord.
I'm aware.
So if you're in the Kanpai Cast Discord, you could have seen him talk.
Talking shit. Yes. Anyway, no. So the whole premise is the fact that with the big bad effectively able to turn any normal human being into a monster, a zoonoid, the corporation who knows no limits in their depravity opt to kidnap our main protagonist's father, his sole surviving blood relative, and turn him into a killing machine designed specifically to kill his own son. And Kronos is like, yeah, we're cool, we're kick-ass. We think cool ideas, and
we're the good guys, by the way.
Yeah.
We did nothing wrong. And ultimately, as the combat ensues and things, Sho realizes that literally his father has Fumio Fukamachi has absolutely no ability to restrain himself because he is being controlled by a Zoolord. And as part of the battle, Enzyme 2 caves in Sho's brain. He just caves in his skull, and as a result, the Guyver goes into defensive mode where it takes over itself to protect itself and absolutely obliterates his own father. And the psychological repercussions it has on show where he can no longer bio boost because he is suppressing his own memories of ever actually doing this.
Even though he didn't actually do it because he was, brain dead at the moment. It was still his body. It was still him, right?
His survival instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the fact that this has happened and everything, when Sho wakes up, from the trauma, when he eventually wakes up and everything, and he can no longer bio boost because the second he sees an enzyme 2, which he thinks for the first time, the armor retracts because the PTSD is kicking in hard.
Yeah.
And I think that is an excellent narrative, right? It's just like, more often than not, when someone sees something absolutely horrific, they react in such surprising ways. To kind of turn this into a real life situation, I remember as a student at school doing I was like 15 at the time, and we had biology. We were supposed to bring in a cow heart to dissect, right? And this one kid brought the entirety of the respiratory system. So, not the entirety because there was no blood vessels or anything like that. But, brought in the esophagus, brought in the lungs, heart, the whole kit and caboodle. Sorry, it wasn't. It was pig heart, not cow.
You had to bring yours in?
Yes, we had to bring ours in. We had to bring
our school just supplied them. We didn't have to go and buy them ourselves. That's ridiculous.
Anyway,
wow.
This is like a very prestigious school in fucking
I got
Wales.
to see this happen in 4th grade. I mean, why did it take you so late?
Anyway, but the whole point. Well, did you actually do it yourself, or?
No, we didn't actually do it ourselves then.
Yeah,
we
so
did
the
it
idea
ourselves.
was that, we were supposed to do it ourselves. Anyway, so this one kid brought in the entire respiratory system, and I apologize if this actually kind of has a visual shock to anyone. But the teacher got the esophagus, which had the tongue hanging out of it, started waving it around and things, and 2 of us, including myself, went into shock. I couldn't see anything, right?
Wow.
I wasn't gonna fake. I could hear everything. I couldn't see a thing, right? My eyes had dilated so hard. Not dilated.
Contracted.
They contracted so hard. Literally no light was coming in. I just couldn't see a fucking thing. And my teacher had to grab me and drag me out and put me on a step to sit down. And it's like, well, I never fucking seen anything like that before. My body was just reacting in such a way that I didn't fucking envision this was going to happen.
That's interesting, because I got a prize for cleaning off a set of lungs so cleanly that they would be almost perfectly preserved when we put them into the solution.
But that's the big thing, though.
I think it's not the dissection portion of it. I think it's the fact that they were waving it around and the tongue was waggling, right?
Yes.
It was shocking. Yeah, it was the shocking visual of that, Yeah, you expect, if it was just laying there, no big deal. But the fact that it's actually moving around in a weird disembodied way, I can see that.
Not just that, but it was a case of I was expecting to see the heart. I was expecting to see the but to then all of a sudden see this esophagus, that is what I theorize.
Yeah.
Actually, set me off. But that's the whole point. People react to things in different ways. And this is one thing that I absolutely love about the Guyver, is the fact that Sho reacts to the trauma of his father's death in such a way that in most anime, characters would just shrug the fuck off.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yes. It's not Rudius. It's not Rudius' impotence level of, but it's actually more realistic.
It's more akin to when Miorin kind of, or Suletta herself kind of withdrew. Wait, am I spoiling your other one? Hang on.
No.
Okay, good. But when they kind of withdrew in Witch from Mercury, that felt relatively, realized. That felt yeah, these kids, because they are kids,
Yeah.
would. I mean, it was only a little crazy that Suletta didn't react more to the tomato incident, and that's probably because of how she was raised. You know, but the withdrawing set part that felt super on point. Like, geez,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So,
good scene.
What would I don't know if go on.
Would you do anything different?
Yeah, would you do anything different? Would you have more jiggle fizzes?
You don't have to do it. Oh my god. You don't have to do anything different, but would you?
Would I do it?
Would you have, like, I can't remember, was there ever, did he ever find, like, a recorded message or anything after that of...
Oh, no.
Just his father talking? Okay.
No. And I think... Because to me, it was really well done when effectively he gets his... he's forced to understand and experience what has happened when Aptum basically forces him to remember.
Yeah.
You know, which was like, you know, so he's lost the power of the Guyver for a few episodes, and then, you know, he eventually gets it back because he's being traumatized by Aptum. I kind of feel like they did it better in the original OVA because, like, you know, you could fucking hear the pain, the guttural pain in Sho's voice as he's remembering, you know, as he's trying to force himself to remember.
Is that a dub versus sub issue? If you watched the other season, yeah, okay, yeah.
Quite possibly.
Okay. So his question, would it have sounded a little bit better if there had been moments where he almost remembered? Where he consciously shied away, like he did from actually bio-boosting?
Yeah, I think...
where other things reminded him of his father.
And then he just kind of goes blank and walks away.
Yes.
I think, yes. I think that would have been a nicer way to deal with it, sort of thing. I think, again, like, you know, him struggling to remember parts, and then, you know, Aptum has to feed him more and more and more until he finally remembers the whole thing. I think, again, that would have been better. Right. And I think when Aptum again, you know, stabs him just before he bio boosts, I think if he was on his like knees when, you know, he eventually bio boosts, again, that would have been nicer still. But regardless, I still think this scene is brilliant. I think it's like an excellent iconic moment, just because of the trauma side of it.
Okie dokie.
So.
Well,
you know, we probably could have prefaced all of this by saying that there are going to be heavy spoilers in this episode.
It's true.
I'll have to try and remember to put that in the description.
Yeah. Also, I want to hear about Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant Nasuth.
Oh, okay.
Go on then, Nasuth.
Now, this is one that I hadn't watched in a while, so this is the one that I had to refresh myself on. And there's probably a more pivotal moment towards the end, but I have once again picked another early moment, and this is when she decides to duel Saionji using only a broken bokken, and he's got an actual sword, right? Now, the reason this happened, so in the basic premise of Utena is when she was younger, she was saved by a prince, and rather than, you know, decide that wants to just find the prince and marry him, she decides she wants to be that kind, you know, be that strong. She wants to be the one that saves other people. She wants to be the prince.
Yeah.
And
she's inspired to do that for other people.
Yes. Pay it forward, not pay it back.
Yeah. Which is a really great premise, I think, for a show starring a woman. Anyway, so in the very first episode, right, we see her and her friend. I think it's Fubuki. I can't remember her name. No, it's Wakaba. I think it's Wakaba. Anyway, So Wakaba, she and Wakaba are chit-chatting. She's just seen Saionji interacting with Saionji is the guy, one of the student council members, and he has green hair. You can tell all the student council members apart by their hair color.
Yeah.
Here's some of them on the elevator right now. And so
Main
she's
protagonist
just seen,
powers activate.
Yeah.
Look at those silhouettes. That's classic anime right there.
So she's just seen Saionji slapping Anchi, who is the purple-haired girl, because she's essentially his property. Not to put it lightly, she is essentially his property right now, due to weird reasons about the show. Anyway, but she's been distracted by Wakaba, right, before she can really get into anything. And also, I believe Kaoru? No. Whatever the red-haired guy's name is. He's also come in to kind of stop Saionji. So she and Wakaba, oh my god, are talking. And then later, we find out that Wakaba has sent Saionji a love letter. I had to tell you about them in order to get across the point that Wakaba is in love with Saionji. She sends him a love letter, and he posts it publicly for the entire school to see. Because he's an asshole.
Dickhead.
If we haven't established already by the fact that he slaps a girl, he's an asshole. And
basically owns a girl.
Yeah. Well, anyone who wins the duels owns Enchi. That's just how it is. Kind of like how the people who win the duels in Witch from Mercury essentially own Mirin. It's that sort of setup. And so Utena's like, knowing nothing about any of this, she's fresh in the school, decides that she's gonna challenge Saionji to a duel for Wakaba's honor, and because Saionji's in charge of the kendo club, essentially, and so she thinks it's gonna be just a normal kendo duel with Balkans, and he's like, okay, but you got to meet me in the forest. You got to meet me in this forest, and we'll go duel there. And that leads to some shenanigans where we see a castle floating in the sky and stuff. But that's for a later point. The point right now is that when she gets up there, he's got a real sword. He's got a real ass sword, and she doesn't give in. She stands her ground and she fights him, and he cuts her sword off, and she still manages to win. And so
impressive.
This tells us that she'll go to any length to stand up for what she believes in, no matter the disadvantage. It does
so you
also.
could almost say it's revolutionary.
It is revolutionary. Mm-hmm. No, it's revolutionary for a different reason. But it kind of was at the time. It also leans into that very shonen deceit that the power of friendship will always win.
Yes.
And that pretty much holds true through the entire show. It does get dark in a few places, but overall that is the
interesting. I'm finding it interesting that there are so many parallels to Witch from Mercury. Goes to the new school, sees somebody being mistreated, duels the guy over it, and wins the hand of the fair maiden.
Yep.
While still being a fair maiden,
and pledges
themselves.
to completely protect her forever. Yep. So it is. I would say that her reaction is kind of unrealistic. Dude has a real sword, and she's got this tiny little stump of a sword left, and he's already shown that he has a very cavalier attitude towards his lessers, given that he has posted the love letter. He's hit Anchi. It's definitely not the first time he's hit Anchi. I would totally 100%
somebody.
I would totally 100% expect him to kill somebody, or at least injure them gravely.
Maim them.
Yeah, at least maim them.
Yes.
But she's like, no, fuck this. I'm doing this anyway, and she rushes in there. Very, very classic, samurai moment where the two people are running at each other with swords and they slash each other at the exact same time. And but she lost and she won. But I don't care that it's unrealistic. I really don't care that it's. I wouldn't do it any differently because
really?
it's such a because it's just such a good, it's such a. Yeah, it's a little cliche. Sure, it's very cliche. It was even cliche for the time. Let's face it. But I don't know. It's so flashy. It's so well done. The music that's going on at the time, the scenery. It's all just. It plays out so well that I wouldn't change a single note of it. It also kind of sets up the hurdles ahead of her because she's going to have to keep doing these duels, and there's obviously some bigger secret going on here. There's a lot of setup in this first episode, and in this fight specifically.
Yeah. This is what I was getting at with last week when I talked about Bleach. I wouldn't change a thing because of the way it all comes together. It's incredibly cliche, but it's a cliche done well. So yeah, I agree. I'm
not even sure what I could. I mean, like, okay, so let's say we try to make it more realistic. What could she do instead? The goal of the duel is to destroy the other person's rose. They're each wearing a rose, and so maybe she, instead of trying to charge at him, she could throw her sword or the rest of her Boken.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
But then she would
throw.
I think the problem is that, like, realistically, no matter what you add, it's not like a substantial addition. Because, like, if she threw her Boken at the rose and things, like, what does that really? She's unarmed, right?
Yeah, now she's unarmed. If she misses,
him in the woods. That's the opportunity. Okay, is I don't even need a Boken, and she just cracks a branch of a tree.
No. So they meet in the forest, but then they have to climb up a staircase to where the actual arena is, which is a nice actual building arena.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing I was like, crack an actual branch of a tree, because I don't even need the Boken. I can beat you with a stick.
Yeah, you could have that. You could have the arena in the forest instead, and then she could do that. Yeah.
Would have given an opportunity. So he cut the sword down, cut the Boken down, and so she just said, "All right, next weapon. Let's go grab that, because I don't need this."
Yeah, no matter how many times you cut my stick down, I'll keep coming.
Exactly. That could have done for a good moment.
Yeah,
but
because that does set up her. That does still set up her determination. No matter how many times you swat her away, she won't stop. Yeah. I could deal with that. I could deal with that. There you go. I think we fixed it. I think we fixed Uchenna, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, where to now? What do you want to go for, Nasuth?
Well, I picked FLCL. You do? I know Xeno loves Black Lagoon, so let's do Black Lagoon.
I'm interested to see where you're going to go with this, and I'm guessing it's towards the start. I'm guessing it's basically Rock realizing how expendable he is to Japanese company. No? Okay.
My scene is the cigarette. Scenes from episode 7 of Black Lagoon. And it's considered the moment when the ship between Rock and Revy really truly sailed. And I mostly want to talk about it because the build-up to it. Okay, the episode starts off with Rock and Revy being sent off by Dutch to do the errands around town, because Dutch and Benny are fixing up their ship.
Yeah.
And Revy, being Revy, just starts complaining non-stop that she's being sent off with Rock, she doesn't like being sent on errands, and she's just being herself like this. In fact, I think that's actually from that scene.
It's not.
No? Okay, because they head through Rowan's club, talk about the shipment of goods that he's just received to make sure he's got it, and they then go to Balalika's place, and Rock apologizes for their delivery being a bit late, and then finally they go off to Repost Church, where Revy and Edda are typically at each other's throats. But when they sit down with the leader, Sister Yolanda, they're talking about the way they're supposed to do a bit of business, and Revy doesn't like the way Yolanda's taking a superior attitude with her. and pulls a gun on her. To which immediately Edda whips out her own gun and holds her back. And they're getting really catfighty, but Rock just settles, right? And talks to Yolanda and says, well, ignoring them, why don't we talk about business like this? And if we do this, we'll get through our little agreement. And Yolanda says, I like your attitude, boy. Revy, you could stand to be more like him. To which, of course, Revy, not happy, storms out, tells Yolanda to screw herself on her way out. And she maintains this bad mood down to when they actually get something to eat at the nearby restaurant. And they start genuinely arguing. Proper nasty argument. And
between Rock and Revy?
Yes, Rock and Revy. Rock and Revy have an actual argument. And Revy has pulled out her gun and starts firing because she's getting so, extroverted about it. But Rock actually stands up for himself. This is the bit I was... Rock stands up for himself. He gets furious. He chews Revy out for acting just like the bosses that stranded at him here, that didn't care, as unkind and uncaring as his former employers, and it stops Revy dead. Rock standing up for himself like that. And that's about the time when the chief of police, I forget his name, he comes in to basically arrest them because Revy's discharging a gun in public. And he's corrupt, so he's just going to give them a ride back to the docks, but he has to show that he's arresting them. And he puts them in the back of the car, and he lights up Rock's cigarette because Rock's the more sensible of the two, and starts driving. And Revy, in a rare moment, realizes that she's been a dick and asks for a light from Rock, not from the police officer, and gets close to him and lights her cigarette from his in a scene that is not quite platonic anymore. It's not romantic, but it shows a rare moment of closeness between the two. And it's all because Rock finally just snapped and stood up to her when she's having a childish fucking tantrum and put her in her place, saying, basically, you're being a really bad friend, dude. And it actually stops her. It stuns her. And that in itself is, for me, and for many others, the place where their relationships truly started. Where she realised that she didn't want to be a dick to Rock and she wanted to apologise. Didn't quite have the words or the social interaction to do it. And so gets physically closer to him enough to get that cigarette light rather than being able to express herself normally. And that's a brilliantly paced build-up and payoff. Because the whole episode could have been skipped. It's just a filler episode, basically, in the show. It's just between one adventure and the next one that happens. And it truly kind of gets you to this point of, oh no, this man has really actually come into terms with the fact that he is there and on the team, and he's confident enough in his position on the team now that he can snap back when he's snapped at. And Revy realises that you can see it in the way she stops and takes it in before she gets arrested and calms the fuck down. And she is calm and normal to him for the entire ride back.
I think a lot of these sorts of situations, because Revy, for the bulk of the series, is quite hostile to Rock, only because, she sees him as useless, just a sack of shit, because he can't realistically hold his own when it comes to a gunfight or anything on this. He is a desk jockey, he sits behind the pencil pusher, but the guy has a lot of strategy behind him. He's he does, just because his battlefield is on the page as opposed to the streets, it really shows how he does business when he's dealing with
with Yolanda
nun?
and Balalaika. Yeah, as well.
Exactly.
Later on in the show, when he deals with Balalaika, no matter how much she scares him and upsets him, he still deals.
And if memory serves, like, Revi hates the fact that he can have this rapport with these people that, she's basically been building her rapport with them based on combat skill and prowess and things like this. But Revi is a character that is a dime a dozen in the is it Madripoor?
Rowanapur, yeah.
Okay. It's the what's it called? She's a dime a dozen, right? And
just because he's the best doesn't mean that she's irreplaceable.
Yeah. But Rock, who just turns up and is just like, I am top dog businessman, it really highlights his value differently, and she hates that. She rebels, she pushes back, she's trying to conduct business her way, and it doesn't fucking work, right?
Not in those situations.
And he comes in after 2 seconds, fucking diffuses the whole situation, and then when she tries to again be top dog to him, and he snaps. Yeah, no, this is a brilliant episode. Like, it does the whole thing really, really well. So yeah, no, I agree with that entirely, 100%. It's like the point when Revi actually starts seeing Rock as a comrade in arms.
Exactly. And the only way I've done this differently is in some way to have her teammates see it happen. Because Revi being nicer is one thing, and seeing the effects of that, after the event, but I kind of wish I wish that they had been witnessed. That change in her had been witnessed by her longer standing comrades, so they could see why. Because they just had to suddenly deal with the fact that Revi was now more on board with Rock and was more accepting of him. And I was like, whoa, okay, because you see in later episodes, like, oh, you're getting on with him now. And I think
I kind of get where you're coming from, but I think it holds a lot of special value, though, to the fact that, it's
personal growth, not group growth.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an experience that's shared just between them, not the whole group.
Oh, no. I don't mean that they would be there in the scene as such, but maybe when they were at the restaurant, Benny and Dutch had been taking a break as well and seen it from one of the other tables, unobserved, unknown to Benny and Rock. I
suppose.
So it was witnessed but not influenced. If you see what I mean.
I get where you're coming from, but at that point in time, I would have thought that when Revi starts, blasting away, they would have stepped in. Yeah. Anyway.
I get that. It's just, in some way, it's personal growth, but Dutch and Benny are two long-standing friends, and being able to see that growth in her.
I think it's good that they know her well enough. I'm sorry, I obviously haven't seen it. I'm only inferring based on what you're saying.
I get you.
It seems like they know her well enough to pick up on the fact that her attitude has changed. And so they can infer that something has happened. They don't need to know what. They just need, they just know something has happened.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you on that bit.
Cool. So, should we move on to the next one?
All right. What do we want to see Xeno do on this one, Nasuth?
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say, since I already hinted at Witch from Mercury, we might want to get that one out of the way.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see what he's picked for that.
Okay. So yeah, Naz has kind of hit it on the nail on the head earlier. It is the tomato slap. Right? So the big thing for me when it comes to Soletta, it was becoming more and more theorized, the relationship that Soletta had with her mum. and how is this relationship working, how is it forming, so on and so forth. But the big linchpin, which I kind of feel was there potentially more for shock value than anything else, was the Suletta slap at the end of at the end of part 1, when Suletta thinks she's doing the right thing, trying to protect Miorine from the terrorist, but just completely and utterly vaporizes the person. It's
not with a gun either. She it really is a slap. Yeah, with the robot. Yeah. You trying to get your
and I dropped my pen. But yeah, so Miorine is recoiling from this massively, and Suletta just jumps off of Ariel, and as if nothing ever fucking happened,
with a bloody glove and all.
Well, yeah.
So
it's almost like, because she decided to do it and she thought it was the right thing, that was all it needed. Like, she was just moving on to the next thing, which is taking care of Miorine.
But it feels more than that, because it feels like, well, I'm doing it because Mum told me to do it, and thus I am exempt of anything because Mum told me to do it.
I don't have to think about the consequences. I don't have to think about the life that I literally just ended. Another human being.
I've been told not to think about it.
Yes, yes.
It's like, and again, when Suletta, it was literally the same episode earlier before you got into Ariel, when Suletta's starting to kind of recoil from the whole idea of, fighting back, her mum just does the whole, you run, you move 1, was it, I can't remember.
Yes. It's...
No, you run, you gain 1, but if you move forward, you gain 2.
So, gain 2. It's move forward, gain 2. Move back, gain 1. Something like that.
No, I think it's if you run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you die, you gain nothing.
Yeah. But so basically, they're having this conversation, and then all of a sudden, you can visibly see Suletta, just her whole perspective on the whole thing. It just calms down. And it's like, okay, I'll get in Airy and just utterly nuke everything. And but Miorine just I don't want anything. She recoils. She pulls away. She doesn't want anything to do with Suletta because and
nobody should have no reaction like that.
Yeah.
Not just that, but But she
just saw somebody get she just saw another human being get obliterated in front of her. That's traumatic enough. And then to have But
not just that, but later on when Miorine's turning to Suletta and talking to her about it, and when Miorine asks her the question, it's like, "Oh, if your mum tells you to give up on your dream, would you just do it?" And she was like, "Well, yeah, mum knows best." And again, you can feel that frustration from Miorine. So
there's also that Miorine thing of, well, what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
If her mum told her to stop protecting me or to even turn against me, would she? Would she have trotted down from Ariel with that same expression on her face if it had been me under there and her mum had told her to smack me
vaporize
instead?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the fallout of the slap. But the slap is the inciting incident. It is the catalyst for all of this.
And I think realistically, again, Thaylien, you just hit it on the head. I think I would have liked to have seen more episodes where they actually explored, this whole
unhealthy relationship.
The unhealthy relationship between her mum and Suletta. What if her mum told her to kill Miorine? Would Suletta just do it? right?
It takes some convincing, but she might. That's the thing.
Well, I think that's the big thing. Like, she would just do it, right? And I think, again, seeing that turmoil would have been nice, because then, again, you would have more of a reason to see Maureen just pull back even harder on having anything to do with Soletta. It's because, again, like, they basically distance each other absolutely massively, and especially when it goes even worse for Maureen when they go to visit Earth.
And it's not until her mom, and it's not until Soletta's mom turns her back on Soletta that she even thinks there could be any other option. I think it would have been nice to see her even consider for a moment before then that there could be anything else. But she just...
Sorry, can you elaborate further?
So, she never questions that Mother is always right.
Who's she?
Soletta. Soletta never questions that Mother is always right until the very moment that Soletta's mother turns her back on her.
Yeah. Go live your own life.
Yes, that is the only time, and then it destroys her. And I want it to still destroy her, but it'd be nice if even for a moment, even for a glimmer, there could be like there could be a life besides what Mother says. I could do what I want.
Well, do you know what would have really humanized the slap for me?
Go on.
And that's if Soletta got off of Airy, saw the blood and turned and hurled over the side.
Oh, she couldn't because she was wearing her spacesuit.
You know what I mean? But, so was actually violently sick in the spacesuit, had to clean it up or whatever. And then she had to, recover from that and then turn around to Maureen and say, all right, are you all right? Are you okay? Something
Actually, I think
a little bit of that wobble in the brain that she's just killed somebody.
I don't know, part of me would have liked it more if there was an opportunity where Soletta was basically imprisoned for this murder, or basically a load of the murders, and she doesn't understand why she's basically been imprisoned. So basically, there would have to be an opportunity where she goes to Earth, and she is basically they try to convict her as a war criminal, right? But she cannot comprehend that what she has done is wrong in any way, shape, or form. Right? Because, well, so not just because she had to do it. She dehumanizes. She doesn't see them as people. She sees them as in the way. So kind of like, is it Guel's storyline? The one the guy that,
Yes. So give his storyline. I'd be all right with that.
No. He keeps his storyline because he was captured by the
freedom fighters.
Exactly, but if it's a case of she is basically imprisoned by the human governments and things like. I mean, they'd have to more elaboration.
Underground. Okay,
yeah. They'd have to be a lot more elaboration.
Sure,
and stuff like this. But again,
well, there should have been a second season anyway. So I mean,
oh god, there really should. There would have been place. There would have been room. But yeah, I think that would have been absolutely fantastic. But the problem is that they rushed it. So they rushed so much of Witch from Mercury, and
and it still came out great, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
it could have been.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have anything more you want to add to this, but.
We're taking too long on these as it is.
No. I think the big thing is it's just the dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that is a really good moment.
Right.
Xena, what do you think? Should we get him to tell us about the never-ending series of Attack on Titan?
Yeah. Isn't the last part finally out?
No, I don't think it is.
Or is it this? It might be this month. I think it might be this month.
No. It's. I think it's next year because it's supposed to tie in with his new chapter of the manga.
Oh God, is it? Oh no.
I think so.
Anyway, I'm talking about season 4. Well, technically the end of season 3, the beginning of season 4. So it's the moment that Eren decides to betray the world and just kill everyone.
Right.
You have to give me so much more context to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Same.
So
I did not keep up with this.
right. So up until this point, right, they've been the people in this city, this walled off city, have been fighting off the Titans, and in the course of season 3, we learn that the Titans are actually being sent to attack them by real human forces on in the rest of the world. So they're actually on this tiny little continent or island or something. It's not perfectly clear how big it is. It might be like Australia or it might be like New Zealand, you know.
The British are real.
Yes. And the reason that they've been on this island and walled off is because they are actually the race that gives rise to the Titans. There's a lot of backstory here, a lot of mythical stuff going on, but essentially, at some point, their king decided they need to be isolated from the rest of the world. It's the only way they'll survive. But there are still some Titans who exist on some people of this race, this sub-race of humans, this not really sub-race, I guess, this other race of humans, but they are actually another race because they have a different DNA code and everything.
This yeasty-based race of other humans. It's like Cro-Magnons versus Homo sapien, right? They're both equal, but they're different. And so some of them still exist on the mainland, and they are persecuted. They're basically treated like the Jews during Nazi Germany, right? They're not exterminated per se, but they are held in camps and told that they're less than human and all this stuff. They're used as tools, and so and
some
the
of them
island that they sent to, that's the Chambers.
Yes. Essentially, rather than being killed when they cause trouble, they get given the Titan spinal fluid so that they can transform into mindless Titans rather than Titans with brains, and they get sent to the island to go attack the walls and what have you. And when Eren finally learns this, right, and he's got the power, he realizes just how powerful he is because of who he is, and the Titans that he's absorbed and all this stuff. He's like, well, fuck this. It's not enough anymore to just gain our independence and coexist with humans. We need to wipe them all out. The humans are a threat to our very existence. There is no peace. We must destroy them. And what I think this tells the audience is that they can no longer trust Eren. Because up until now, he's been portrayed as a good person. But he's not. He clearly has no place in his heart to try and find a peaceful solution.
It's his villain arc. He's gone from protagonist good to protagonist evil.
But in his own mind, he thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he is doing the good. He is protecting his people, right? Because humanity has proved that they are not to be trusted. But part of that's in response. What he doesn't really seem to realize is that part of that is in response to the way that the Titans treated humans in the first place. So it's this whole eye for an eye thing, and that's what makes that is what ends up making him the villain. You know, he thinks he's doing the right things, but it's just he thinks he's got the final solution. Let's put it that way.
So are you in favor for this or
no?
Not?
I mean, I think it's actually a really realistic reaction.
Okay, good.
I personally, I think the reaction is terrible. I think peace should always be the option if you can make it. I think total genocide is never the right thing. But I can see how realistically somebody could be like, well, this is the only solution I have left is to completely wipe out this other race so that ours survives. Because we do have a
recall, it should just kill them all, genocidal.
Oh god,
When there's no more way back, wipe them all off the map, genocidal.
But we do have this this innate ability to see the other as an existential threat, right? We that is built into our DNA, like it or not. It's something that we have to overcome, and to destroy an enemy so utterly that they can never make war on you again. But whew, you're supposed to be smarter than that. You got a brain. You can actually think about these things. You don't have to go with your instincts. And he just completely goes with the reactionary. I've got to kill everything.
So does he just completely flip on a dime, just going like, I just want to kill them all?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Well, he didn't even know they existed. He didn't even know they existed beforehand. So the moment he learns about them, it's instant. I have to kill them.
So here's a question for you, right? Is his motivation prior to this survival driven, right? To which this then makes sense because it's like, well, in order for us to ultimately survive, we just have to kill the bad guys.
I think his motivation was revenge.
No,
it's still revenge driven. Kill all the Titans, but then he realizes he's one.
They are
of
the
them,
Titans.
and that we're all the Titans, and it's the humans that are the problem. So I'll kill all the humans.
Yeah, the humans were the ones who sent the Titans in the first place.
So this is revenge based.
Yes.
I think it's revenge.
Yeah. I mean, he couches it as survival. It's we've got to protect the city. I've got to fight for our people. We got to retake the outside land so we can actually start expanding again. But really, it at its heart, it's all about revenge for his mom being killed.
Yeah. Just a bottomless well of anger inside him.
Yeah, he's
After
not
all this. It's because his mum.
I mean, I think he's convinced himself that it's bigger than that. But I think that was definitely the inciting event that set him on this path.
Batman's parents. It's Batman's parents.
To be honest, this sounds like the narrative is delivered poorly, and he should have spent more time. You should have had him basically maybe discussing it with himself, like discussing it in a mirror, or discussing it with his peers, like what should he do and things like this. Not just on the, like, because I get it. If it's a case of,
they kind of do, because they've got the whole genetic memory thing. And they spend time with him going through the genetic memory and reliving the Titans' past, the Titans' history, and that's what makes him realize that humans exist and are the ones who did this.
I thought he only had access to two, which was his father and the original Titan.
That's all he needs, really.
So, this okay. I mean, this feels like the breaking point for the narrative for me. Because
it really does mark the shift in the narrative, yeah.
It does. But like at the same time, I can appreciate though that if say hypothetically you're in a shopping mall filled with zombies, if you kill one zombie, then all the zombies die. Would you not risk it? Right?
Yeah.
Would you not do your damnedest to kill that one zombie to then?
Yeah, can you make peace with zombies? I don't know. Probably not.
Or do you just go with, I'll just keep on fighting these zombies and eventually I'll die at some point because there's just too many of them.
Yeah.
Or do you notice the weakness in their structure and do you exploit it? So again, at that point in time, I feel like yes, you can see you can appreciate the logic in what I've just described, but from the sounds of it, it doesn't describe it that way in Attack on Titan.
No, I think there's also the fact that you got to consider in your hypothetical, you've already been bitten by a zombie, and you and all of your friends will die as well because you're bitten by zombies.
Well, no, it turns out you're zombies anyway.
Yes,
that's the
and there are actual humans that have been
so many
zombies.
of your friends. Yes.
Wait, you're the zombies, and you think that the zombies are humans, or wait, you think the humans are zombies, and so you're killing them.
But you get the point. You get the whole point, though.
Yes,
it's just like
it's messy.
So
it's so clearly that they wanted to tell like a World War II allegory and have our guys be the. You think you're watching the good guys, but they're actually the Nazis. But it's a mess.
I think it's just basically okay. So it wasn't explored properly. From the sounds of it, it wasn't explored, because I think no matter what, you can always pivot your character's belief in that, but you have to show why would they think this way, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel like they haven't done it. Right. Should we move on to the next one?
Gosh, we should.
Sure. Okay.
Okay then. Shield Hero.
Shield Hero.
Shield Hero. Go on, Thaylien.
Alrighty. Is Raftalia actually a slave?
Uh-oh.
Why?
We're going back to this thing again, in a sense, because this is the scene from episode 4.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the first season, and it gives us the infamous scene of Motoyasu demanding that Naofumi frees Raftalia from slavery, challenging him to a duel. And we see the progression of the situation as Multi preps everyone to side against him, bringing in her father, the king, and guards, and making it impossible for Naofumi to do anything else but accept the duel under duress. And even capturing Raftalia and saying, "Shh, child, you're just brainwashed by being a slave." And they even bring in the Pope to watch. You know, it's a big thing. And that's when
the Pope
Naofumi...
there?
Yes, the Pope was there.
Yeah.
It's there. They've said that this duel is being viewed by the king and the Pope, thus making it completely legal. You know, that kind of thing. But this is of course when Naofumi does what anyone watching, but nobody in the show would actually believe. He starts to win. And it's until Multi cheats, magically striking him and distracting him and letting Motoyasu win.
Yeah.
And from that point, when he does, Naofumi falls into further, like right off the edge of his depression. And he practically hallucinates as Raftalia is freed. He sees, bedraggled urchin Raftalia as instead of who's actually there being freed. And the anger and the shame and the despair actually activates like the ability for him to spec into the cursed shield at that point, which is something we see throughout the rest of the show. And it's only outside of him that we witness Raftalia literally slapping Motoyasu across the face for what he did and refuting everything he accused Naofumi of, countering every single argument. No, that's just lies, that's not true. He fed me, he clothed me, he did all of these things for me. Yes, he needed me for this, but he made me into who I am, and calls out mine for cheating. And on top of that, we even get the other two heroes doing the bare minimum, coming down to the thing to say, yeah, mine cheated. We saw it, and you've bribed the people watching not to do anything. The king has told them not to speak up. We saw you cheat. It's you lost that fight, Motoyasu. And it's that point where we see something that is absolutely iconic to Shield Hero itself, which is Raftalia then going to Naofumi to try and bring him back from that depression.
It's the one thing,
and it's a really powerful scene. She's the only person, the first person and only person thus far, to give him trust and care that he accepts. You see him thrashing, you see him rejecting her because he thinks she's just going to set him up for another failure, that she's just another part of this world that's out to torment him. But she manages to get through. And it's genuinely one of the most touching scenes between two characters so early on in a show, where you can see this is the one lifeline that he needed to become more himself again.
So,
and
I love everything about the scene you're describing, but I don't think it necessarily delivers it in the best possible light, because realistically, I think it takes at least 2 watches to realize that Naofumi never saw Raphtalia prior to this event as an adult.
Yes. So this is something that I've seen so many people not pick up on.
Yeah.
And it takes you to the end credit scene to actually hammer it home, the after credit scene. He doesn't even recognize Raphtalia when he finally looks up, because he stopped seeing her as the kid.
Yeah.
He actually sees her as the
herself,
grown up person.
Yeah.
And that's incredible, because you on the second watch through, you get that thing, because at the start of the party, he's looking out the window, he doesn't want to be there. Raphtalia's talking to him, but he's not paying attention. He's not looking at her, and never has been, not since the first time they met and he bought her and brought her on and gave her food, right?
It's the same way that food doesn't have a taste to him anymore, because he's so withdrawn. He doesn't want to pay attention to anything.
And that's the funny thing, because that same thing where they hammer that point home, where he explains, or when Raphtalia explains that, her people, as if they level up when they're young, their body grows up to reflect it. And it's something that's what causes them a lot of prejudice. But she goes and rustles up some food for him. She goes and finds some leftovers, makes a sandwich, and hands it over to him, because he must be hungry at that point.
And like the best damn sandwich of
he tastes it for the first time.
Yeah.
Somebody else handed him food in this world, and it tasted good. And that's the result of actually seeing and accepting her for who she is, and being given that lifeline of somebody who actually trusts him and respects him and cares for him. And it's from that scene. Yes. I agree with you, Xeno. It could be better presented, but it is beautiful for all of that. Sorry, Nasuth.
It really mirrors the very first time he's put on trial, right? When he didn't have anyone, and it shows that the one thing he needed in that situation that could have set him on a completely different path is just a friend, just somebody who trusts him and believes in him. And he had none of that, and this time he does, and it literally averts disaster. I mean,
I'm quite happy with the fact that that what happened as a result of the scene of digging him out of his despair was he actually fell asleep.
Yeah,
he exhausted himself
and finally
fell
relax.
Asleep. So that's powerful. I've been down deep in my feels for a couple of things in my life, and when I did recover from those, one of the things that was the most cleansing was sleep, was a nice relaxed sleep that didn't have any of the dreams that I'd been experiencing before that. And that kind of relief and being able to wake up again afterwards in a safe and comfortable place was incredibly powerful. So, presentation's off, but feels are there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think one thing it's really fundamentally important when it comes to a lot of these shows, like any of these shows, the ultimate question is, how do they want to deliver it? Do they want to deliver it in such a way that it requires multiple watches to grasp the whole thing? Like, for example, Howl's Moving Castle, right? This is a brilliant one for it. The fact that in Howl's Moving Castle, when Howl first finds Sophie, right, and starts, you know, so, you know, he goes, "Oh, there you are, my dear. Like, sorry I'm late. I spent my entire time trying to find you," so on and so forth. And then sort of like whisks her away from the guards. You know, the guards that are persecuting
from
her
those
and everything.
fake girls and to follow her as well with the strange shadow creatures.
Right. So, but then towards the end of the movie, when Sophie is flung back in time, he ends up, she ends up crying to him, you know, saying like, you know, "You're not alone," so on and so forth. "Find me, come find me." And the idea is that that's what he was doing for all those years. He was actually trying to find Sophie. And when he eventually does, it then makes sense for why he says, like, you know, "I've been looking for you all this time." Right? Because he genuinely was. He wasn't just trying to mislead the guards.
Yeah.
There's actually as a popular author that I used to do editing work for when she did fan fiction. She rewrote one of her fan fictions into an actual set of novels, and then did one that was basically Ancient Magus Bride, but in book format. And they do that quite well as well. They introduce a sinister character that saves her from, you know, a nasty situation, and you find out later on, like 2 books later, that it's all because of him seeing visions of her before he even knew who she was. And his original thing of, you know, "Oh, there you are, I've been looking all over for you," and doing that can be seen as just somebody saving the girl. And it then gains meaning from the background we get. And it's, you know, I like it here as well. It was same situation, but he needed that one person to actually see that second. Yeah.
And I think it's down to the delivery. Like when you talk to the directors, not the author, right, but the director of the series, like, did you intend for your audience to only glean this on multiple watches? And if the answer is yes, it did a brilliant job, right? But I bet you bottom dollar the majority of the time is, no, I expected you to glean it the first time, right? Then sometimes it's like your delivery wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah, your delivery is not good enough to get it the first time. You do need a rewatch, you know, with the knowledge from further on to get this one.
But yeah, that scene was absolutely brilliant. Right. I am going to talk to you two and just say, like, okay, you know, we are an hour and 15 minutes in, effectively.
Should we wrap it up?
More than happy to. I'm more than happy to do our last ones. Or do you want to just wrap it up?
Well, I'd say let's do one more from one of us. Who wants to actually go? And or which show do we think from our list do you want
would be the most interesting?
Oh, god damn it. I don't know. Like, I
can tell you what my moment. I can tell you what my moment is. We can just say what the moments are, like, very briefly, rather than going in depth on.
Okay.
Yes, I think
so. So Thaylien.
Most of them.
Oh, sorry. So Xeno, you're my dress up darling one.
Right. Yeah. So my dress up darling one, fairly briefly, is towards the beginning of the series, where effectively Gojo has slaved away at running the Hina doll shop. He is studying for his exams, and he is making Marin's costume, right? And he has run himself ragged trying to do everything. And then when Marin realizes what has happened, the period of time that is spent in her reaction, to me, is not long enough, right? They don't sit down and properly talk it through or anything like that. It is kind of, I'm so sorry, and then she gets in a costume, right? This is often a complaint that Loz has had, and I am of a like mind, right? I think the series could seriously benefit from that conversation prior to her putting on the costume being longer. Just talk it through. You know, I wasn't expecting
with you.
Okay,
I almost agree with you on that one, but I think that Gojo's reaction to it is enough for me. With his exhausted, oh, I see. I'm glad.
But then again, like, the guy's barely slept. The guy's barely slept in days, and her first reaction is like, "I want to put it on." It's like, maybe just say like, "Hey, how's about I come back tomorrow and we can try it on," you know, and then just time skip to the next day because the guy's gonna fucking be exhausted.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. All right, Nasuth, what's your moment that you?
So mine is it's from Made in Abyss. It's I think it is in season 1, but I did Wandering Twilight because it's the better way to experience it, I think. Yeah. And it's when Reg kills Mitty. So very briefly, Reg and Rico have made it down to I don't remember what level it is, and Rico. Something like that, yeah. And Rico has been,
I think it's 4,
injured, like gravely injured, on the edge of death, sort of thing. And they're saved by Miss Fluffykins here, Nanachi. And through the course of fixing her, we find out about her history and how Mitty, her best friend, she and Mitty were part of an experiment, and it transformed them into these creatures. And Mitty especially got the worst of it, right? This is Mitty here, and she's just kind of a blob that can't die.
Can I elaborate briefly?
Sure.
Can I elaborate briefly? So, part of the horrific nature of the experiments was effectively 2 kids would go down to layer 6 and then get pulled back up where all the nasty shit was happening. And the idea was that one of them would come off relatively unscathed, and one of them would have the worst of both of them.
Yeah,
right?
all the curse would be shoved onto the other person.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that both Nanachi and Mitty go down together.
Yes.
And then Mitty's the one that
Nanachi has to watch Mitty get turned into this. And then Nanachi breaks them out and brings the back up to this layer where they make a nice little home and, you know, that sort of thing. But as much as she loves Mitty, she also realizes that this is no existence for her, and she thinks that Reg has the power to fix, you know, to stop this. And this moment shows like a lot. It shows like Reg doesn't want to do this at all, but he feels like he has to. Like, it is like Nanachi has convinced him that it is the right thing to do, and so even though he's like bawling, he does it. And it shows Nanachi's resolve that this is her best friend, but she knows this is the right thing. But it does kind of set her free in a way, but it does it well. It's like gnawing off your own leg to get out of a trap, right? It's that kind of, you're free now, but you're inexorably injured because of it. And so it is a huge moment. And man, I feel like it's really the moment that the series changes from kind of a lighthearted adventure with some weird, some slightly dark elements to they about to get just see the worst
super
things.
fucked.
Yeah, they're about to see just awful things. Yeah. There you go.
Like
my last.
Yeah, go on.
No,
you're
gonna have a final thought on that, weren't you?
Nah, let's go.
My last one is Fruits Basket, Kyo the Cat Monster. This is the end of the first core of the show, and was a bit where the original anime stopped on. and kind of rushed it, but they took the time on the 2019 version to go into it a little bit more. So the brief summary of this is, for those who don't know, is that Fruits Basket has a family called the Somas who are cursed to be the animals of the zodiac and the god of man that took them to the banquet, is as in the old stories of how the zodiac was formed. And every generation has at least one representative who becomes one of the animals of the zodiac when they are embraced by a member of the opposite gender. So comedy shenanigans ensue from that.
That aren't part of their family.
Yes, that's the other thing. Well, no, even because if you recall, the rabbit's own mother embraced him and turned into a rabbit.
No, if they were a zodiac, that was it. That was the.
So only the other members of the zodiac can embrace them. And Toru Honda is basically an orphan that's been kicked out of her own house, but done it like lightheartedly, like, oh no, I'll be fine. I'll just live in a tent and live in the woods because I don't want to put myself upon anybody else. And she's been basically taken in by 3 members of the Soma. And they, so it's mostly by the dog. Shigure takes her in to say, no, you'll live here because we're not having you live in a tent on the back of our land. And besides, your tent's been destroyed by a landslide. And over the course of her stay there, the 3 of them start gaining a little bit more separation from their Soma family roots, thinking a bit more independently, becoming more people than victims of this curse. And the current incarnation of the god of this story, the head of the family, Akito, sends Kyo's adoptive father, one of the members of the Zodiac, to basically test them and do something cruel to them out of spite. Which is, Kyo's father takes off the beads that are sealing his transformation.
Sorry, Kyo.
Yes, Kyo the cat. His adoptive father is sent to take off the beads that seal the true cat transformation, which is an ugly, smelly, disgusting monster, because it's representative of the way the cat is left out of the feast that makes all the other animals into the zodiac. Yeah. He's tricked into not attending, and so he's more cursed than all the others. And that scene where he's forced to transform into this in front of everybody else, in front of Toru and all the other people he cares for, sends him fleeing. And in that moment, Toru's the only one that goes after him, the only one that cares enough to track him down and try to bring him back and overcome the disgust of this monstrous form, and brings him back, transformed back into the regular cat. And there is a whole depth to this scene where she kind of solidifies her place as one who could potentially break this curse upon them and bring them back into normalcy. But at the time, it's just a really nice scene of acceptance. It's a tipping point for the whole show, where we find that she is genuinely good enough to make this effort and make these changes in others by being good to them. And I think that's a really powerful scene of the show, and it's only topped by the later discoveries and the mysteries unfolding around the entire family and the solutions that come from that. So as far as the actual first season goes, this culmination is absolutely spot on, and I don't think I really could have done it better.
Fair. Cool.
So I think that's all of our picks.
We made it.
We did it. Right, okay. So I think, to be fair, we would all like to have gone on to our last picks a bit longer, but it is what it is.
We don't want to keep the audience here forever. Although hopefully,
that's true.
You can always just skip to the ones you like. It's a great time to say it now. You can always
as
just
we
skip to the
love
ones
you,
you
we
like
can't
in the
keep it
timestamps.
forever.
Right, I think it is now time to move on to the supporter question. So, as Rugel says, before I read out the supporter questions, I just want to thank you all for watching or listening to our podcast. Please hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to say. We read them all, right? And then Rugel also asks, what was the last Studio Ghibli movie you saw and what did you think of it? Not throwing shade for not liking Spirited Away yet again. I recently watched Princess Kaguya, and it was pretty mid. Oh, what was the last one I watched?
Probably House Moving Castle for me.
C for me.
Oh God, I pity you.
And that one, it was a poor attempt at Tales from Earthsea.
It really was.
It did, but at the same time, that I put that on Goro rather than Hayao.
Yep.
Yeah. He tried to take a famous thing, much like Ariete did, and didn't quite succeed with it. I much prefer the earlier stuff.
I think the last one I watched was Ariete. I think. I know I watched.
Not a bad example of the borrowers.
Oh, I didn't like it. I got bored. I got really bored. But like,
you're a Grinch.
No, I love the Cat Returns. I think the Cat Returns is fucking fantastic. I kind of wish Whispers of the Heart was more like Cat Returns, but I mean, it's just too different. But I much prefer the older Studio Ghibli stuff, like Pompoko, Pocorosso, Lapita. Like, after Spirited Away, the only ones that I've liked are Howl's Moving Castle and Cat Return.
I'm still really interested to see How Do You Live? Or Boy and the Heron. Boy and the Heron, that's where it is.
Right. I am intrigued. I am intrigued to see that, but I'm not. Oh fucking no! Wait, was Ponyo by the cliffside?
Yeah.
After Ariete?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
It was definitely after Spirited Away, and so that was a weird one. I wasn't convinced with Ponyo.
No, I hated fucking Ponyo. It made no fucking sense to me.
Running on the top of the waves with yelling,
killing
ham.
everyone dying, just death everywhere. Anyway, right. So there you go. Moving on to the Eminence in Nasuth, who has a bad taste in names. Is there a moment in anime that you could that could have been improved with the addition of a fart sound effect? For me, it's when Guts kills that kid.
That's a good moment. That's a good moment. Whoever that person is.
When Ponyo's running across the ocean, the tidal wave, just farting the entire way.
Propels herself off the wave, yelling ham while farting.
What about you, Thaylien?
I don't know. I think that it's going to be Batman Ninja. Where Batman Ninja, where the giant castle thing that Joker gets, when it staggers and collapses, I think that could be improved with a fart effect.
Yeah, fair.
Let us know in the comments what you would like to see improved with
a fart effect. Anyway, Shin Megami Thay asks, last week we talked about heroic moments and how some of them were surprising because the moments were serious despite the show leaning into comedy or ridiculous events. So what super serious anime would have been funnier if it had the comedic peanut gallery ruining that serious moment? Death Note.
Eminence is Shadow.
Oh god, no! But that's not serious anyway. It's silly.
I could really think, because it takes itself too seriously, and I think that's the kind of show that would really benefit from having a couple of comedic outtakes. Basically,
I'd be fine with those anyway.
Yeah, he
Yes.
Every time he tries to be the super serious eminence in shadow, saying,
here we go again. Yeah.
Doing bad puns at him.
Yeah.
So MST3K, but for anime. Okay, got it.
MST3K, but for eminence in shadow. Anyway. Right, that is it for the supporter questions. It's time to move on to the comments. Right, okay, so first from the news, Zrugel says, in response to the list of Psy games have been involved in. Wait.
List of anime Psy games.
List of anime.
Wait. Yeah. Did you say Hinomaru Sumo? That's one of my favorite anime. Did we say Hinomaru?
Yep, that's one of the ones they're involved in.
Okay. Spirited Away, the stage production looks pretty neat. In response to Nasuth's clickbait title, I expect more manga news.
Yeah.
I expected more manga news. What did you put as the
more
title?
manganese.
Big manga news, because it was Mega Plus making their new manga.
Okay.
It's true. It was big manga news, you know?
No, that's fine. I mean, they're all clickbait titles. Just fucking clickbait the title to hell and back. Right. Stromberg Shell, a huge nose for his on his forehead, and a huge news on my plate.
It's because Thaylien was wearing that nose mask.
Yeah, the big nose mask.
Yeah. Okay. So in Animation AI Lab, so is Animation AI Lab making games or anime?
Yes. No, I think yes. Animation AI Lab is making anime, and then they have another one that's like the Game AI Lab, but they're both under the Psy Games
same
umbrella thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry. How many Doraemon movies? 43. Holy crap! Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I tried to look up like how many lasted. What is it? What's the movie with Littlefoot and the dinosaur? Land Before Time.
Oh, Land Before Time.
There's like a bunch of Land Before Time movies, but even then, not anywhere near
14
as
or
close.
15.
Yeah, and there's only like 5 or 6 Barney movies. I thought there were way more of those, but apparently not. Anyway,
I don't read manga. For other people, would you be more likely to read manga if it was online? I guess it'd be easier, but you don't get to hold it. To be honest, though, I exclusively read stuff. I exclusively read stuff on my tablet, because the great thing is I can take my entire fucking collection with me. On one tablet. Paper's fucking heavy.
Sadly, I read all my manga online these days. I have a small collection of manga out there, but not, it's not kind of thing.
I love my physical books. I've got like 2.5 bookshelves groaning with the weight of books that are on them, physical books that are on them. But there's no denying that digital is for portability and just sheer ability to have a bunch without taking up a bunch of space.
I used to have one of these. Yeah. I used to have one of these that was entirely dedicated to manga, right? But the problem is, as you're reading the manga, you're getting through that, and then you might get to like the 14th volume or something, and then all of a sudden the author's gone like, I can't be fucked with this anymore.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And you're like, well, fuck, I don't want to have this on my shelf anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So, Anyway,
cast comments.
Where the fuck? Oh, cast comments now. Stromberg Shell says, okay, those were some good picks. How about when Vash spared knives? I know this wasn't an exhaustive list. I just wanted to add one. Yeah, that's actually a really good heroic moment. I always thought for the longest time he actually killed Knives, but then I don't know how many times I'd watched Trigun, and then eventually I watched it and I didn't turn it off, and then it was just like, oh, there's a fucking after credit scene. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Lol with what the hell was that comment after Zrugel's question?
That was my supporter question. That was it's a copy pasta meme.
Okay.
And I
what was that
made it
having a stonk?
Yeah. I made it to
even if you could and to do what you want
the
to
GT
do, you could do
Goku
anything.
Dragon Ball Namek.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Right. So Zrugel says, okay, no offense, but how is blocking the unblockable and destroying the undestroyable not falling into just another scripted moment? I mean, I know that's cliche shonen shenanigans, but my problem with Bleach is that it's still cliche, right?
Yes.
I completely agree with you, Zrugel. I really fucking do.
I mean, at least with Antenna, the odds were against her, but it wasn't impossible.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's
no. That's the thing. What I got out with this is it's cliche done right. I keep saying that. I keep coming back to it because there are so many scenes where they are scripted scenes, and this is a scene where there's no chance that the damsel's going to die. Okay, but the moment that you get is so well done when it happens. You don't get these like some guy dressed all in orange pretending to be a ninja yelling out all his attacks. You don't get these yes, he's powerful, but he's not an overpowered protagonist. And he doesn't do the posturing. He is a quiet and thoughtful protagonist.
I think the problem that a lot of people have is effectively the plot armor, right? You know, it's a case of like, this guy is the main protagonist, like, of course it's going to bend to their will. Like, at no point in time did anyone ever think that Dio was going to beat Jotaro, right?
Yeah.
Because Jotaro is the main character. Yeah, we all knew that, but what we didn't know was the fact that Kakyoin was going to die.
Yeah, exactly that. So there was never any.
But everyone knew fucking Bleach. It's like everyone fucking knew in Bleach that Ichigo was going to turn up and fucking save Rukia.
Yes, it's how he did it that was actually.
Anyway,
yeah.
Right, yeah. Right, moving on. But just to prove he doesn't hate all of Thalien's taste, props, I don't really care for One Piece, but that was a good choice and an awesome moment. Shit, what was that? Oh, yes, the Zoro one.
Nothing happened.
That one was fucking brilliant.
He still loves you, Thaylien. He still loves you.
Yeah. That was a good reference. Nasuth, unfortunately, the timestamp Zrugel included didn't link to any reference, so Nasuth will never know what he said, and he will now have to live with the torment of this one clever moment in his entire life being lost to from the past. Thanks, Zrugel. Thrugel.
Thanks, Zrugel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Goblin Slayer is one of my favorite anime for this reason. The fact that they actually do prep work.
Agreed. 100%.
Cool, and now it is time for the memes. So all the memes can be found on the Discord. All the memes are from Reddit. Again, the links in the description. They are safe. They're just specially curated.
Occasionally on different ones. And of course, so we have 3 supporter memes.
Yeah.
This time around, don't we?
Yeah.
So these are submitted by you guys out on the Kanpai Cast Discord. If you want to submit them, we feature up to 6 a week. There is a dedicated chat thread for you to submit them. So
we can't see. We don't see it ahead of time. So we get completely surprised.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all good.
All right, let's do the first one. So this whole series started because 2 Sims wanted to bang their coworker. Oh my god, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not actually wrong. Yeah? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, number 2.
Nico made an anime. Nico made in real life.
Yeah. Imagine a cat doing that.
Elon Musk. Cat girls win. Tell us. Elon Musk. Take us to the moon.
Yeah. And then 12:50. It's getting late. Only one more episode. 1:30. All right, maybe one more. 2:40. Okay, last one for today. Me at 5 a.m. Shame. Shame.
This was me like Friday night. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Now for Nasuth memes.
Average anime high school sports team, average real life sports team in comparison.
True facts.
Absolutely.
Which cook are you?
I'm the right.
I am the left.
I am the left as well. Does anyone else see, or am I too far gone? Perfect.
No, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like this is somebody who took one of those AI. So lately, there have been people who've been trying to take like words and actual images of people and have AI recreate them using like actual backgrounds. I feel like that's what somebody did with this.
Yes.
But I don't care because
it's an old one.
Fucking hilarious.
This one is 10 years old at least.
Oh wow! Really? Okay.
I swear, dawn of the internet memes.
I swear, I have seen a tunnel that looks exactly like that in Wales.
Right. Anyway. Crunchyroll and Sony getting sued for illegally selling user information, which if you watch the news you will know about, and illegal anime streaming websites stealing user information.
I mean, I nearly picked this one, but yeah. My parents at age 29, me at age 29. Oh.
That's dark.
You're welcome. That meme is forever ruined now, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, it really fucking is.
And finally,
oh god, I saw this one as well. Yep.
Right on to Thaylien's memes. Okay. Hopefully they will not be quite as dark.
I can explain. Legolas, what's your anime I see? Ka-ching. They're taking Hobbit-chan to Isengard, those Bacchus.
That's good. I love
those Bacchus.
Hello, Yeeture Hamra. Grab son. Hello, Bruce Lee.
Dear. Oh dear.
Oh my god.
Hello, anime animators on YouTube. I'd like to commission an animation without sexual jokes.
Impossible.
Oh. Yep, can't be done.
My hero Margadamia with all might.
Oh god.
God. That genuinely exists, by the way. That's actually a real comic.
Holy shit, that's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
But also awful. Anyway. Oh no! Thaylien! I posted this on the Kanpai Cast already.
Of all the fucking ones you picked the second worst one.
It's the second worst one. I didn't pick the very worst. I just did pick the second worst.
That's dark.
And a video to top
and
this
finally, on Thaylien's. Oh my god, yes. This is what they do when what's his name isn't home.
Oh my god.
That's a good one.
I pulled it back. I pulled it back.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So, my first meme. What's with this sassy lost child?
So this is for Daiga, I believe, which is, if you watch the news, you'll also know about.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So this is...
Oh.
Yeah, I've watched
Oh my god. It's actually really adorable.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about Thor, Off-World, Captain Marvel, unavailable? The weeb who got outside for once, isekai'd.
Oh no! This is why weebs never leave the house, because they know. They know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
It's about family.
Yep.
Oh.
The last one.
Yeah.
The left arm of Exodia. The right arm of Exodia, yes. I'm just, the problem is I know that source.
Yeah, I saw this one too. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one. There you go. That
memes. Is it for my memes. If you want more memes, go to the Discord or the Tumblr, maybe the Twitter, if we could bother to keep that one up and running. I can't remember. And
it's dying.
we put memes up daily. Yeah. God,
Well,
Twitter is so
when I
dying.
remember.
It's like, yeah. But and next week, I'm pretty sure it's the 3-episode rule.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3-episode rule for this week. There's some that are quite big surprises. I think this season, and there are some which is just like, treat me now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Got a little watching to do in between my sensitivity training for YouTube.
Yes. Oh God, that was a fun morning. Right, so that is it for this week. Thank you very much for listening to Kanpai Cast, and time to bottoms up and Kanpai!
Kanpai!
Kanpai!